Before we dive into the video, I kindly ask everyone to subscribe to my channel. Thank you immensely for your support. Some routes take us to unexpected places. At times, a single choice can shape the course of your entire life. Frequently, the realization of walking down a misguided path eludes us until we have already embarked on that first step. Years were devoted to the art of making the right choices. At the age of 38, I exchanged vows with Richard. Before that moment, I had always imagined creating a family and offering my future child a loving home. Yet, Richard never nurtured those same ambitions. At first, he met every expectation that came with the role of a husband. He declared that we would build a life together. As time unfolded, I came to realize that I was merely a specter in the fabric of his life. Richard never truly placed importance on me or the family we might have built together. His job, his schedule, and his unyielding routines always came first. At first, I was caught in a web of self-deception. I believed he could experience a profound change. Perhaps one day he would come to see the growing emptiness that resided within me. Yet Richard stayed the same. As the years passed, my solitude deepened, yet Noah stood apart. Richard's child from his first marriage during our first meeting was just 19, freshly embarked on his college journey, filled with enthusiasm, ambition, and a wealth of promise. Richard persistently kept his distance from him, convinced that the essence of fatherhood lay solely in financial support. Yet, Noah yearned for something beyond that. He endeavored to affirm his value and carve out his own path. He personified traits that Richard was devoid of. Unbeknownst to me, I found myself drawn to observing him. As graduation loomed on the horizon, Noah found himself at a crossroads, leading him to make a transformative choice that would forever change the trajectory of his life. Everyone expected that he would embrace a highly rewarding role in engineering. Nevertheless, he conveyed a longing to pursue a career as a mechanic. Richard was engulfed in a wave of despair upon uncovering this revelation, erupting in shouts, seething with anger, and even issuing threats to retract financial backing. The echoes of that argument still resonate in my memory, shaking the very foundations of our household. Thereafter, Noah took his leave. On the eve after graduation, he collected his possessions and departed quietly. I found myself unable to say goodbye. I refrained from asking about his destination. Had I permitted myself to unveil the depth of my anguish at his leaving, I would have been forced to recognize an additional reality, an unexpected trial I was ill-equipped to face. 2 years have passed since his departure. My encounters with him have been limited to just a handful of occasions. The bond we once had vanished completely. It was never meant to be. This evening, as I sat in my battered car on a shadowy, rain-drenched road, it dawned on me that there was no one left to reach out to. Unbeknownst to me, a transformation loomed on the horizon. It would surpass my wildest dreams. It would happen on its own. I clutched my phone, my fingers instinctively hovering over Richard's number. Yet, a moment of doubt crept in. Should he choose to respond, would it not be clear what his answer would entail? Reach out to a toe. Indeed, Emma, I find myself somewhat removed. He would end the call without any additional remarks. I swallowed hard. I stared at the screen for a few moments. I then left the call and turned my attention to another name. Is it Noah? A peculiar unease welled up inside me. My finger hovered just above his contact. Should I reach out to him? Could this be merely a request for help? Or does it serve as a different interpretation altogether? An ineffable presence, an ambiguous force employing this as a guise. The rain tapped gently against the panes, a soothing rhythm in the quiet of the room. In the glow of my headlights, I beheld a formidable silhouette moving steadily through the night. A strange wave of relief washed over me as I beheld the scene. Noah made his way to the vehicle and gently rapped on the glass. As I gently lowered it, his voice surfaced, distinct and resolute. Emma, how are you faring? My eyes were drawn to him. His face glistened slightly from the rain. His features stood out more vividly than I remembered. His stance was effortless yet strong. He had shed the remnants of boyhood. He was a singular entity. In the span of these 2 years, it was not merely the distance that had shifted. He had undergone a profound transformation. The vehicle came to a sudden stop, leaving me in a state of uncertainty about my next move. I mentioned that I paid a visit to my mother. The event transpired on the way back. Richard has once more ventured beyond the confines of the city. I chose not to call him, fully cognizant of how he would respond. Reach out to a tow truck, Emma. He would probably grow annoyed with me because of it. If this marks your first encounter with such revelations, we invite you to join our channel and subscribe, ensuring notifications are activated. Before moving forward, you might wish for this tale to continue endlessly. Noah tilted his head ever so slightly, a spark of understanding illuminating his eyes. He stated with composure that he understood the reason for your failure to contact him. Have no fear. I am managing this with confidence. He leaned in, releasing the hood and casting a beam of light from his flashlight onto the engine. I watched as his hands moved with precision, each muscle tensing with every intentional gesture. He had risen above the confines of being just a college student. Each of his movements radiated assurance, and his approach to issues revealed a wealth of experience. It became clear that this matter would remain unresolved in this moment, he ultimately remarked, as he shut the hood with a definitive motion. It is imperative that we convey it to the garage. I must take control of the vehicle because of the possible rigidity in the steering. The passenger seat shall be yours to occupy. I shall leave my truck parked here for the time being, intending to return for it later. I chose not to delve into it, as I had no obligation to do so. The assurance of Noah's presence filled me with a sense of confidence, leading me to believe that all would turn out well in the end. The air was thick with humidity throughout the journey, yet the quietude that enveloped us felt entirely comfortable. It appeared to pull us closer, unbeknownst to either of us. Noah cast an occasional glance in my direction, his voice steady and assured as he shared details, keeping the conversation flowing. I focused intently. I watched him as his hands skillfully navigated the steering wheel. His voice echoed, and his presence was unmistakably felt beside me. When he left 2 years ago, I did not fully recognize how deeply his absence would leave a void within me. Richard had consistently displayed a sense of detachment. Nonetheless, Noah's presence was unmistakable. His vitality, his vocalization, his gaze. At that moment, something stirred within me, awakening a profound realization. I found myself unready to face it. I remembered that evening, the one that came before his departure. An unspoken connection lingered between us, a bond that had yet to cross any boundaries but held the promise of doing so. The possibility had always been there. Noah had come back, aged, wiser, and undeniably more enchanting. A disquieting unease stirred within me. This feeling was forbidden. It was never meant to exist in this space. Yet, it was as if my attempts to hide it were in vain. With each breath I took in his presence, I felt it deeply within me. As we reached the garage, I took a deep breath, striving to steady myself as I swung open the car door. Yet an inner voice whispered, "This evening you are both changed, and you both recognize it." The garage was suffused with the pungent scent of engine oil and cold metal, while the steady cadence of rain drummed against the roof above. Noah lifted his head from beneath the hood, wiping a delicate sheen of sweat from his forehead as he turned his gaze in my direction. His eyes revealed a surprising lack of fatigue, while his demeanor carried a weight of contemplation. As the hour grew late, he observed, his voice resonating with a steady depth. "Should I begin the repairs on this vehicle now? We shall linger here until the break of dawn. It would be prudent to tackle this at the very start of tomorrow." I conceded, though it was hardly a matter of concern. Noah's stance spoke volumes. This was far from just another night. He noted that the rain was growing more intense. "Stay here. I will go with a friend to get my truck, and then I will come back to take you home. I would prefer that you not remain out here by yourself." His voice carried a quiet command, reflecting the careful consideration of someone who pays close attention to the finer points. In this circumstance, Richard chose not to comply. His indifference was palpable. He might have expected that I would handle it in some way. Yet Noah stood out in a unique way. As he departed, the silence of the garage wrapped around me like a heavy cloak. The rain pounded relentlessly on the roof as I settled into my seat, my hands folded neatly in my lap. Logically, I should have experienced irritation or anxiety. My vehicle broke down, I arrived home late, and my plans had fallen apart. Yet, the strange element was my indifference. I felt a profound tranquility that surpassed mere joy. What is the cause behind this? This was simply a mechanical failure. The situation held no particular significance. Yet, this evening, everything about it felt extraordinary. Noah's gaze, the warmth of his voice, and the manner in which his presence enveloped the space, instigating a profound inward transformation. As I waited, a transformation was unfolding within me. I pondered it over the years. Noah evolved into a figure of maturity, embodying resilience and self-sufficiency. Furthermore, his presence eased my feeling of solitude. That feeling, whatever it was taking root deeply within me. The thunderous growl of an engine outside shattered my reverie. Noah stepped into the garage, water streaming down his shoulders, utterly unfazed by the downpour outside. With a sense of readiness, he asked, his eyes locked onto mine. I stood up, tightening my jacket around me as I gave a confirming nod. We stepped out in unison and climbed into the vehicle. As we journeyed, my inner feelings deepened. I cast a fleeting look in his direction, striving to give voice to the tumult of feelings within me. I noted with a faint smile that when such an event occurs, most people feel frustration, anxiety, or a sense of misfortune. Nonetheless, I find myself in disagreement with that perspective. Curiously, I sensed a profound sense of contentment. Noah allowed a subtle smile to grace his lips as he kept his eyes fixed on the road ahead. He recognized his comprehension, remarking that at times, even in the most untimely instances, situations might arise. Indeed, his voice was soft, yet it carried a deeper resonance beneath the surface. The walls I had built around my solitude were crumbling away. In that moment, I grasped the depth of Richard's emotional detachment and the intense loneliness that enveloped me, even with him so near. Moreover, I discerned that Noah shared this perception too. The air between us crackled with an undeniable tension. An inner urge stirred within me, a quiet but persistent whisper that beckoned for attention. I longed for this night to stretch on without end. As we neared my home, I took a deep breath, gathering my strength. Noah, you have been grappling with this for several hours, I observed. You must be absolutely ravenous. In an effort to hold your gaze, let us share a meal as we did in days gone by. Noah regarded me in a brief, stunned silence. After a brief pause, that familiar, delightful smile emerged. How could I possibly refuse that? He declared, and a flicker of inspiration ignited within me. As I stepped into the kitchen and began to prepare supper, the stress that should have weighed on me from the night simply evaporated. We exchanged laughter and delved into conversations about memories, reminiscing as if nothing had changed. Yet, every circumstance had undergone a transformation. Every time our eyes met, an unspoken understanding passed between us. Retreat was not an option. The soft flicker of candlelight bathed the table in a warm embrace. Our conversation flowed effortlessly, filled with shared stories and laughter, just as it always did. It seemed astonishingly smooth and hauntingly recognizable. Yet, the ambience that lay between us was not the same. Noah leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, his gaze fixed on me with unwavering intensity. His gaze radiated a comforting warmth. Moreover, there existed another facet, a fanciful idea, something insightful. I must concede, he remarked, a subtle smirk playing on his lips. You are as stunning as always. Today it is truly remarkable. It seems you have grown even more youthful over the last 2 years. Were I a stranger to you, I would confidently declare that I am 26 years of age, and this woman seems to be no older than 30. At this very moment, I would probably be trying to captivate her. A soft laugh escaped me, caught off guard by the nonchalant way he articulated it. The unexpected praise unsettled me, yet I found it impossible to deny the pleasure it brought. Thank you, but I am 45 years old, Noah, I said, keeping my smile intact. We share an age gap of roughly 20 years. Age is merely a numerical value, he remarked, his voice deepening with gravity. We are both cognizant of that fact. His words sparked a wave of warmth inside me. Silence enveloped the table. The stillness, while not unpleasant, hung heavily in the air, as though the very atmosphere was poised on the edge of breaking apart. Noah tilted his head slightly, his gaze searching mine as if he were uncovering a depth of understanding that transcended the obvious, a matter we could no longer ignore. I observed, trying to steer the conversation anew, that you too have undergone a transformation. Your departure signaled the onset of your maturation. At this juncture, you find yourself as an adult male. Noah's smile slowly faded, replaced by a more serious demeanor. He placed his palm on the table, his fingers softly tracing the smooth surface. He paused for a moment, locking his gaze with mine as he carefully chose his words. I harbored feelings for you, Emma. A swift tightening took hold within me. Noah, I know, he continued on. I had never intended to reveal it, yet the desire to keep it hidden had faded away. As I left that place, I was convinced that by respecting you and keeping my distance, I would manage to forget. I had thought it was just a fleeting occurrence that would fade with time, yet it persisted. He took a deep breath, his gaze locking onto mine, holding me in thrall. In this moment of observation, I find myself enveloped in a wholly unique feeling. Your solitary presence deeply stirs my emotions. My heart raced with fervor, as though my very being had splintered into two distinct halves. One part of me urged flight, while another, a facet I barely recognized, longed only to stay and soak in every word he spoke. Noah, I found myself unable to finish my thought. His gaze was so intensely locked onto mine that I felt utterly breathless. In that moment, my fingers reached out across the table, seeking the warmth of his hand. Noah took hold of my hand, his skin warm and strong. In that moment, silence enveloped everything. We moved at the same time. As we drew nearer, our eyes met one last time before we surrendered to the darkness. Our eyes locked in a moment that held both clarity and chaos. At first, it moved with a certain hesitance, but in mere moments, everything we had buried, every ounce of stress we had neglected over the years, came pouring forth. In that moment, Noah gently cupped my face, pulling me closer to him. As I basked in his warmth, my body instinctively gravitated toward his, drawn by an undeniable connection. As I became increasingly aware, a part of me that had been dormant for years was beginning to awaken once more. In that moment, it became clear to me that retreat was no longer an option. Even as Dr. Bree's lips hovered over mine, I felt a tumultuous awakening inside me, a feeling I had long kept at bay. Something shifted between us, an emotion too complex to name, but impossible to ignore as he pulled me nearer. With unwavering determination and a calm demeanor, I made my way toward Noah. As I looked into his eyes, I noticed his hand shifting. Slowly, it amplified my excitement. I felt a profound inner sensation, something significant. In the midst of overwhelming acute pain, I found myself strangely unmoved. Everything proceeded without interruption. An overwhelming wave of emotion surged through me, and in sync with my spirit, it was both a release and a realization. I had not felt truly seen in years. To Noah, in a moment of sheer exhilaration, he found himself enveloped in happiness. I noticed the spark of excitement in his gaze. As we uncovered the depths of each other's souls, we existed in perfect harmony across every facet. I rested my hand on Noah's shoulders, a flicker of worry crossing my mind that my nails might be causing him any discomfort. My body stiffened and trembled. Such a reaction was beyond my expectations. It was clear that Noah held it in high regard. I beseeched him to loosen his hold, to bring an end to the confinement. As he spoke my name, Emma, his voice slowly faded, and he ultimately surrendered his grip. A deep warmth wrapped around me. With a deep breath, I surrendered to the moment and settled beside him. As I lounged beside Noah, my heart raced with fervor. Though our breaths came in fits and starts, within me stirred an indescribable peace. Being near him felt like the return of a long-lost piece of myself. Noah turned slightly, locking his gaze onto mine. His hand swept through my hair, tracing the contours of my face. His gaze radiated certainty, a look that communicated the truth of the moment. This was not simply a fleeting distraction. Emma, he expressed with careful intent, you deserve to feel whole again. Whether that means change, healing, or simply rediscovering yourself, I will support you. A tightening took hold within me. I had long awaited this moment for him to express it. Yet the words hung in the air. He does not deserve you. He never did that. He left you in the shadows for years, showing no warmth or care, reducing your life to a mere shadow of what it could have been. You do not deserve a life like this. I endeavored to express a thought, yet he forbade me. In undertaking this journey, we may find ourselves beginning afresh in a distant realm, a place where our presence is yet to be recognized by anyone. All other matters hold no significance for me. My feelings for you, Emma, run profoundly deep. Your sadness and solitude have become unbearable for me to witness any longer. I reached out to him. The sincerity in his words and the intense longing in his eyes deeply disturbed me. A warmth wrapped around me from within, a feeling I had not known for years. Was this an evasion of expectation? Yet it may have also offered a chance. I found myself pondering the possibility of unparalleled joy. I took a deep breath and smiled at Noah. A name caught in my throat. In that fleeting moment, our gazes conveyed a world of unspoken truths. Our hands intertwined, fingers weaving together. The story remained unfinished, with further details yet to be revealed. This time it was pushing ahead with greater determination. Stay vigilant for forthcoming updates. Having arrived at this juncture, it is clear that this tale has struck a deep chord within you. There is much more to express, and you certainly do not want to miss any of it. Be sure to click the follow button, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts about this story.